Chen Qiufan began his sci-fi writing career at the age of 16. His works have won many major awards in China and overseas, including several Galaxy and Nebula Awards, as well as a Sci-Fi and Fantasy Translation Award. As a graduate of Peking University and with work experiences gained at leading tech enterprises Google China and Baidu, Chen Qiufan has an impressive CV. He is widely recognized as the best of all the Chinese sci-fi writers born in the 1980s. In 2020, his Algorithms for Life won the Best Original Work Award at the 31st Galaxy Awards for Chinese Science Fiction. Welcome to ICON. Good to see you here.
Thanks for having me, Mr. G.
Congratulations on your book winning a major prize in your category.
Thank you so much.
What is the prize about?
It's the Galaxy Award for the Best Original Book last year.
Galaxy?
Yeah.
In your genre, that's like the prize for your genre written in Chinese.
Yes. It was for 4 decades.
What is it about?
There are 6 stories about like the relationship between human and AI in the near future, including giving birth, entertainment, like elder people, and outer space exploration, etc. So, and there's some pieces was automatically generated by algorithm.
Wait, I mean the book?
Yeah, the book
some
itself.
Stories, not the whole story, but some pieces.
Yes. So we train the algorithm to learn the style of my writing.
So you're not only writing about algorithms for life, you're actually implementing it in your own book.
Exactly.
Wait, I mean, I can't believe this. I know AI has already been playing a role, how big, how deep, I don't know, but the role in our life, in our work. But this is the first example that, sitting right in front of me, I'm holding it myself, that this is a AI, how do you call it? AI powered, AI assisted?
Yeah, maybe in the future co-authoring.
Co-authoring with AI?
Yeah.
How could that be possible? I mean, that's machine learning. I mean, if you're asking a machine, a computer to, I don't know, recognize an object, I can understand that, but writing a book?
So it was back in 2017. So I signed up the contract of this book, and I'm thinking about why don't I use an algorithm to work with me to complete this book? So I turned to my ex-colleague, Mr. Wang Yonggang.
From Google?
From Google. So right now he's the president of the AI Research Institute in Sinoventure, a very big venture capital. So he's also a sci-fi fan and writer. So he said, okay, we'll do it. And he just poured some codes from GitHub, and we built up this model and put it up in the cloud, and we train it with millions of characters of have been written. So it was trained to be a model who can writing just in my style, in a way. So it's not that fluent, but you can sense it, so it's imitating my style. So we use this algorithm to automatically generate some paragraph with some keywords. So it's kind of interesting.
Looks like yours.
In a way, yeah. It's not completely making sense, but I would say there's some avant-garde style, there's some poetic feeling around it. So actually I have to build up the whole context.
The framework.
Yeah, the framework to fit in this paragraph to make it readable. So actually it's not the algorithm which helped me to finish the story. Actually it's me who was enslaved by the machine.
Already, huh?
Yeah.
It's already happening.
Yeah, so totally is not as what you expected.
So it's not cheating?
Yeah, it's not cheating. Yeah.
You've also worked very hard on this book.
Yeah, totally.
So what difference did it make with the help of an AI technology?
Actually, not long ago, we just launched the upgraded version of this writing machine. So we had a press conference in Beijing. So we used the so-called GPT-2. Is the more advanced algorithm right now. So we're fitting in with bigger data, like gigabits of data, like maybe 300 gigabits of data from all the internet. We call it pre-training the model. So it can self-learning all these rules, principles of our real world, and then we fine-tuning the machine with feeding it science fiction stories. Then it becomes a machine which can write science fiction. So right now it becomes more human. So you can see it makes more sense right now in its writing. So right now we can really co-authoring with the machine, and it's sometimes just you couldn't tell which part is by the people and which part is by the machine. So it's become kind of scary right now.
I'm glad you're using this word, scary.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yes.
Once I talked to him, and he's basically saying, many jobs in the future will be replaced by technology.
Yes.
So are you saying that writers will be gone in the future?
Not in a very close future, but in the long term, I think, yeah, it's happening.
I mean, the job is also something that involves consciousness, independent thinking, but you're saying even with this.
Yes, because writer is somehow a very vague concept, because you can separate it into different levels. For example, a lot of journalists, their job can be replaced by machine very easily, because all their writing is just collecting some data and use some certain framework to generate some reports. So right now machine can do it perfectly and faster and better than human. But if you mention about artistic works, like literature, like novels, like poems.
No, it's not.
Yeah, maybe it's
different story.
Yeah, it's totally different.
But the thing is, I mean, if AI or technology is going to play such a big and important role in the future, in writing specifically, where is human?
That's a very good question. So I think right now it is time we start to rethink about the position of human being in the future. So because in the long term of history, I think we need to coexist with the machine, with the AI or algorithm or the robots, whatever you call it. And I think right now the problem is those people who build up the machine, they didn't really realize the value, the dignity, the position of human being in this cybernetic circle, in this system. So we need to build up this system. Fundamentally, we have to input some humanity there. So we need to pay respect to the machine, and we also equivalently, we need to pay respect to the human being, not just brutally replacing their jobs or their life or their future. So I think that's what sounds very urgent and important to me right now.
Now, if we come back to the very genre, the project, if we come back to the very genre, sci-fi novels, science fictions, which is what you write, I mean, the series, right? All these books, winning all these prizes. So what exactly is sci-fi?
Let's look back in history, like Mary Shelley, who wrote Frankenstein back in 1818. So actually it's talking about when human being using technology to create something totally different with their own species, which is not existed in the world previously. But after, you have to learn how to build up this new relationship with the others. So all this development of science fiction in history is about how to deal with the others. So how you build up this non-binary structure, human, machine, human, alien, human, monster, etc. So I think that's the key theme in all science fiction novels, stories, narratives, etc. So to me, it's like the old myth, Odyssey, like human beings trying to find their own position in the whole universe through their storytelling. Because among the time goes by, so you can feeling this dynamic change brought by technology development, brought by geopolitical changes, but somehow fundamentally you have to understand who you are, where you're from, and where you're heading to. So that's the ultimate questions to the whole civilization. So I think that's the question which science fiction is always asking, but without giving a certain answer.
In the course of a journey exploring the frontier between technology and literature, he has developed a unique understanding of the sci-fi genre. Personal accounts of remarkable people, visionaries who see the world in a different way, celebrities who open their hearts and share their secrets, ordinary people who have done something extraordinary. Life stories to inspire you with Icon on CGTN. Why do you think people love to read science fictions?
Yeah.
Why do we need them?
When I was a kid, I remember the first time I saw Star Wars and Star Trek on the television, and I'm totally shocked because there's something I never seen before, and I feels like I can escape to another world and left
From all the homework.
Yeah, and left the reality behind. So I think there must be some escapism in the readers. So they try to find some outer space, try to find some possibilities, and where they can live and they can hang around and they can have some fun there. But that's one side. To the other side, I think science fiction also have the power to comforting people in this era of anxiety. Like every day we're reading news, we are absorbing this kind of overloaded information. So I think people need some power to integrate all these fragments with narratives, which could be very imaginary, could be using very strong emotional connection, and also to resonate their daily life, even with an alternative reality.
If you come back to China, where is science fiction in China?
Yeah, science fiction in China actually just being introduced to China just 100 years ago by Liang Qichao and Lu Xun. Actually, they translated a lot of science fiction in order to enlighten the people because they have big hope on this genre. They think it can totally change the society. Unfortunately, they fail anyway.
They focus more on the science part instead of the fiction part.
Yes, they try to bring in the spirit of science. So afterward, I think science fiction in China is like from time to time, it's like movement, uprising and downfalling in different time, in several times, in the 80s, in the 50s. So, but right now we're in the new wave of uprising since 1999. 1999 was the year when a very science fictional topic appeared in Gaokao.
Interesting.
Exam.
The entrance examination for college.
Yes. So there's a topic about writing an essay about what if the memory can be transferred.
Interesting.
So that was the topic. And it accidentally, the same with the feature which was published on the magazine Science Fiction World in the same year. So everyone thought, okay, reading science fiction.
There's a direction.
Yes.
It's going to be helpful for your college.
Yeah. So all the parents, all the teachers, all the students, they rush to buy the magazine and help him to become the largest one in the world.
But what I'm saying is, now we have, what's the name? The ThreeBody Problem?
Yes.
The ThreeBody Problem, you have Folding Beijing, we have your books, Waist Tide, winning all these prizes, and writers, authors like yourself are now popping up. So it seems there is a new wave, not wave, but you know, as a new wave of science fictions in Chinese literature circle.
Yes.
Is there?
Yes, it is. In the past 2 decades, I think.
Why is it happening?
I think, well, I took it as a reflection of a bigger dynamic change. So, for example, internet was again to China in everybody's life in the late 90s. So, and we joined WTO, we become part of the globalization.
It's all connected.
It's all connected because science fiction is the literature of change. When the outside world is changing rapidly, people try to finding some answers and they might find some comforting from this genre. So especially in recent years, the uprising of China, geopolitically, like have all this attention focusing on China. So in the cultural perspective, before we have Panda, Kung Fu movie, we have Great War, we have Chinese food, but they were all belong to, you know, history. But right now, people try to understand what Chinese people think about the world, the technology, and the future. And science fiction could be a perfect match.
Yeah, I mean, maybe your generation or the previous generation are kind of different from before, because you are more closely integrated with the rest of the world.
Yes.
And also with your works winning all these major international prizes. This is something that was not seen before.
Yep.
How do you see this?
Yes, I think because I was born in the 80s, actually we experienced the whole process of the opening and reforming of China. So the whole situation there seems to me is like keeping open up to the world. And we study English in school, and I go to Google afterward as an employee. So I have a lot of opportunity to have this kind of conversation with the foreigners and have exchange mind with this other cultures. So I think it shaped a more open-minded perspective to the world. So I put all these things in my writing. So I try to deliver the message like what is China exactly looks like and what is the authenticity of Chineseness to the world. And so that's my writing is all about.
Yeah, I mean, your book, because that was your first book and it's already been translated into English, Waist Tide. What I'm saying is, it seems, it's not like the previous generation, the older generation. It might be like you publish your book and it'll be standing there. Yeah. Maybe popular with Chinese readers. But it seems the English world or other language worlds, it's a different story. Yeah. But it seems it's all going in parallel. Yeah. It's published, but at the same time it's published in different languages. And then it's a book, it's a story for the world. And they're accepted by readers of different countries. Yep. In other words, because China now is indeed a part of the world. It's not like, you know, this is your world and this is my world. This is one world. Do you also feel like that?
So I think there's something like universally in science fiction, because this is the genre which could be quite international. We use the same language. For example, when you're talking about alien, invasion, right? We share the same ideas, which makes this genre could be quite universal. So I think I took some advantage from the genre, which could better marketing in some other languages and some other cultures. And I setting the stories in China, surroundings, and using some Chinese characteristic elements. Meanwhile, I'm still delivering the message which could be universally resonate with all these readers across the world. So I think that's very important.
That's the Chineseness you mentioned.
Yes.
So again, here comes back to the writing part. What makes a good sci-fi writer?
I think you have to be very open-minded. You have to write, you have to learn a lot of scientific facts,
The basic knowledge.
The basic knowledge, the common sense. And meanwhile, you have to understand the humanity, because people is the key, is the core of the storytellings. You have to build up this coherent structure. Like there's a core about scientific imagination, but there's something outside. It could be a social structure, and there'll be some people play around and have some story happen within this world setting. So everything should be all aligned.
But these are like the rules for any author.
I think the most different part is writing science fiction. It is extremely difficult because you have so many information there, and you try to incept this idea into your reader's mind without getting too harsh. So you have to play around very subtly. You have to build up this concept like a very sophisticated toy. So you have to make it looks nice, and you have to build up some emotional connection to have this kind of resonate.
Where do you get your inspiration?
I think it's all around. So from the book, movies I've seen, I've read, and also from the people I've met, and also the place I'm traveling to. So everything could be a good inspiration.
But you would organize special tours to different places to find the inspiration.
Yeah.
You would always do that.
Yeah. Because when you try to write something, there's something new, something unexpected start to pop up, and you think, okay, I don't know this thing or this place. I need to check it out in person. So I need to go there and see what it looks like and how it feels to get around with the people, and that gives me some authenticity.
So even it's about imaginations, you cannot just create something out of nothing. It has to be logical.
Yes, it's just like the mirror. You have to put something before the mirror, and it can reflect you.
What would be the frustrating moments for you in writing?
I think maybe it's the outcome doesn't fit in your expectation.
Your expectations of what?
Of the story, because you might think it could be going in that way, but somehow it turn around to the other way.
But you're the writer, you can change that.
No, sometimes not. It has its own path, and it's organic. Sometimes it's just like growing like a tree. You couldn't control a tree, right?
Interesting.
Yep.
I mean, even writers, you cannot control your own works. The characters are there, and they have their own personality. Yeah,
they have their own thoughts and actions and decisions.
So if you think the younger generation are more open-minded, more related to the world, more integrated, which has a lot to do with being a good author for science fictions, do you predict that in the future that a new era is coming? There will be more sci-fi authors popping up in the future? Yeah,
for sure. And maybe they are not just limited in the novels, not in the literature formats. Maybe they can use all different formats, like rap, like game, like even movie and short videos or drama, etc. Maybe virtual reality. So they can use all different medium to fulfill their imagination. So I think that's the future I'm looking forward to.
For now, sci-fi is not yet maybe a very strong genre, at least in the movie industry.
Yeah.
We've seen a few productions, but not many.
Yeah.
How do you see the prospect?
Yeah, because it was so difficult to make a sci-fi movie, because we all know that The Wandering Earth become a big hit, become phenomenon. But I think that's a very special case there, because the whole industry, the film industry, is not ready yet. Science fiction movie requests for the highest level of production, including all the different pipelines, like from script writing, concept arts, like special effects, shooting, post-production, etc. So there's so many expertise and in this industry. So right now we are just at the very beginning point. So I'm pretty much looking forward to more talents can join this industry and contribute. Maybe sooner will become a country which can continuously deliver qualified science fiction movie and broadcasting to the world that this is the imagination of Chinese people.
Yeah, I mean, basically the message, your message to the movie industry is, hey, come on, work harder. I have all the books ready.
Yeah, please. I'm waiting for you.
Yeah. So again, you have different labels. You're businessmen. You run your own company. You're a writer, sci-fi writer. You win all these prizes. You used to work for all these technology companies. And before we started our conversation, you said you don't want any of these labels on you.
Yes.
So, but what exactly, fundamentally speaking, is it that you want to do?
I want to be a messenger. I want to deliver the message which I consider important and urgent to the world.
Sounds like very ambitious.
Yes, because I think we need to change to a much more sustainable way of economic growth and also living, because all these things happened this year, 2020, the COVID-19 things, and everything is so connected, because the accelerationism actually is driving us to the cliff, which might be extremely dangerous. We need to rethink about the whole system. We have to be very cautious and reevaluate humanity in this technology-driven era. So I think that's pretty much critical to me. So that's the message I try to deliver to the world.
Yeah, so in your understanding, sci-fi, science fictions are about imagination, but it's all about reality.
Yes.
It's about the machines, but it's all real world.
Yes.
So thank you so much for your time, and looking forward to more messages through your books.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
G.
you so much.